to Story Lords, the comedy fiction podcast with 2 prompts, 3 stories, and infinite laughs. I didn't forget the word. I was just elongating them.
Dude, if someone laughed infinitely, that would be fucking hell.
Oh, it'd be horrible. I imagine it'd be like having the hiccups forever.
Oh my god, there's just people who have the hiccups for like 20 years.
Yep.
I would fucking kill.
Yeah, I would just jump off the tallest building.
I would jump off the shortest building because I don't want to walk up a lot of steps.
Yeah, well, if you tire yourself out, your lungs might reset themselves and you might actually get the hiccups. So you don't want to be talked out of suicide.
My mom always gave me a big tablespoon of sugar and that did something that fixed it.
Doesn't work for me. I have them for quite a long time and they hurt my chest after a while.
Yeah.
My diaphragm.
Everybody has a foolproof method, right? But I do have a foolproof method. And it's Jesus, what the fuck?
Oh, my hiccups.
My hiccups are gone. No. The foolproof method is you put your head below your knees. You sit down and put your head below your knees and hold your breath for 30 seconds. And that resets your diafragm.
Because your dick's in your mouth, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
I mean, that's just icing on the cake if you really want to go
icing
for
in your mouth, really.
Wink.
Vanilla icing on the cake.
That was the joke, Rich. Wink.
Yeah, but I felt like explaining it. It's been a tough week.
Right.
Anyway, I'm Rich, and with me as always is
Hi,
Josh.
Rich.
Oh, hey, that's me.
And
Hi, Josh.
And the one
Hi,
interrupted
Jeff.
every time, Jeff.
Who?
This week, our prompts were cooking and incantations. How did we do with those prompts?
Not.
I think I did a pretty good job.
We did not. I fucking phoned those prompts in harder than shit.
Harder than Alexander Graham Bell.
Harder. What? Was he tough?
Now he phoned it in.
Yeah, it's the inventor of the
Oh,
phone.
he phoned it in.
This
Mr. Watson.
Can we start over?
This is a bad start.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Anyway,
Jeff.
this week, it's Josh that starts first.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So, get the quality right straight out the gate, buddy.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we're suffering here.
Can you fucking hear my voice right? I sound like fucking, I feel like I've, smoked, 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I sound like shit.
Did you?
No!
Oh, okay.
At one point,
No, I never smoked that much.
he ate them.
I stuck them on my butt like a normal person.
Of course.
Smoked them with my butthole. All right, this week,
Ironically,
episode...
boofing does appear in my story. I guess we'll...
Oh, man. The hive mind's working again.
Just wait. I don't think there's any boofing in mine, but my story is called When You Die, Worms Eat Your Face.
Yay!
I'm ready for this one.
Axe wound plummeted down into a lake of fire, but her expression was as immovable as her perfect hair. She crossed her arms mid-fall and let out a sigh. That little peanut dick goblin ruined everything. The bone dragon righted its trajectory and made a dive back for its master, barely sailing below her before she hit molten death. "'Bout time, you idiot!" Axewood scolded, as the dragon only lowered its head in shame. Back at Heck HQ, goblins and dog/clogmen were hard at work decorating the gymnasium for the return of the queen. Now, Gerald, it needs to be even. Let's at least look like we have a third-grade understanding of the world, Glut directed Gerald the dogman. At hanging up a gigantic banner, Gerald shot a short growl at the goblin before raising the banner a few inches. "God, looks great," Gut said with approval. He stepped back to admire his handiwork and read the banner aloud quietly to himself. "Mission accomplished," it read.
American humor.
Certainly there would be no need for a backup banner that read, "We'll get 'em next time." The queen was sure to have achieved her goal of making the most powerful axe in all the land, one that would rival the legendary axes of history, such as Axe Body Spray, Axel Foley, and the infamous "Let me axe you a question."
Wow.
Boom. The main doorway to the outside of the gymnasium slammed. She's here, Glut Whisper yelled. Places, everyone, places. He shooed dogmen and goblins to their respective spots for the big surprise. But as Axewood entered, she was clearly axeless and wore an angry expression. One even more noticeable than her usually RBF face that oozed "Don't talk to me" vibes.
I know that look.
Surprise! Yelled Gerald.
Gerald.
It was a surprise, though, wasn't it, fellas?
Surprise yelled character I hadn't created.
Shit. Oh, man. Surprise! Yelled Gerald.
I can't believe he nearly did it again.
Dude, it's so hard. I'm fucking... You don't know how hard it is. Yelled Gerald, but almost immediately his face was met with a magic bolt that turned his face all black like in a cartoon. It also blew off most of his flesh, leaving only the open cavity of his upper nasal passage, which you don't often see in cartoons.
True.
Axewound looked up angrily at the banner and then scanned the room to see almost every one of her minions now hiding terrified in their surprise hiding spots. Mission accomplished? Mission accomplished? She laughed maniacally. More like mission stupid failed because one of you little mud humpers ruined it all.
Whoa, you can't say that, Axewound.
Wait, we probably couldn't have fit that on the banner, Glut said quietly in the background. Axewound let out a rage-filled scream as she hurled a firebolt at the banner, instantly igniting it like it was soaked in gasoline. That's petrol for you, Rich. Why do you call it gas when it's a liquid? I don't know. Why does your mama call my dick King Richard the 69th when King Charles is the king now?
He's got you there, Rich.
I do say that.
I know. Figured we'd address it on the show right now.
In front of everybody.
Now you know what we talk about between the episodes, guys.
Yeah, and between the sheets. Axewound's rage was seldom held in check, but on this day she really let the beast out of the already unlocked cardboard barred cage. This was like if the prom scene from Carrie fucked the prom scene from Idle Hands and had a baby. That was also a prom scene, but this wasn't a prom scene, but it just looked like this.
Yes.
I follow.
I do too.
Axewound heaved breath in and out as she clenched her fist to her side. Shaking, she snapped her neck over to one of the only remaining minions she had left alive. We need a better caliber of minion around here, she almost screamed. You little twig dick, pencil dick, nerd dicks aren't cutting it. Fool me once. Not gonna fool me again, she screamed. She stormed out of the gym. As the door slammed behind her, several severed appendages fell to the ground from the ceiling with a wet thud. Someone's got a case of the moon's days, Glut said as he poured himself some grog.
That is a comment my boss would say.
She didn't kiss anybody.
That's why he's getting fired.
That's true.
She did say mud humpers, which sounds racist.
It really does.
I don't think it is, but it sounds fucking super racist.
I'd check HR if I was one of her minions.
Can I say mud humpers?
That honestly sounds like maybe a slur for white people, so it's fine.
Oh, here we go on the Yakubian genetic theory again.
Look, we all came from a vat of pure evil to bedevil real humans. I don't know what to tell you.
I can't prove that that's not what happened, so...
Thanks, Dr. Yakub.
Oh, that's good, Sethy. Yes, Axewound said as two blue cumbers rested on her eyes. Seth was massaging her feet as attendants of all sorts were gliding around her quarters in various lavish mood-calming placebos. I mean, herbal remedies. When I take these blue cumbers off my eyes, I better not see you using your tongue again, Seth. We're not that desperate for listeners. Yet. Axewound said, still enjoying the foot massage. Bing bong! A goldish yellow light pierced the cucumbery flesh of her covered eyes as the sound of her all-sea ball could be heard. Seth immediately stopped his totally consensual and not at all weird or sexual foot massage and left the room to give his queen her privacy. The attendants in the room all scurried to pick up their trays and grapes and wines and exit the room, but Axwoon stopped them with a single snap of her long fingers. "You may stay," she simply said, as she rose up and took the vegetables off her dark, still angry eyes.
It's a fruit.
They had not done... What?
It's a fruit.
Cucumbers are not a fruit.
A vegetable.
They are, aren't they? They've got seeds inside.
Fruits have seeds in them.
Your mom's got seeds inside.
Well, and she's a vegetable.
Oh, come on.
And I had sex with her last night. What? This show is good.
Rich's moms need love too.
That's right. All right. Where was I? They had not done the job that putting cucumbers on your face is supposed to do. At least I don't think. I was never really clear on why people do that. If it's because they're mostly water, why not just put water on your face? Because water is 100% water. But narrator, I hear you ask, what do you turn into when you eat them? Nothing. They're just vegetables of a different color. Maybe if you eat one, you'll turn into someone who doesn't ask fucking stupid questions.
Fuck you, listening audience.
Yeah, let's go to Patreon for more of this abuse. Anyway, bing bong, the all-sea alarm rang a second time. Axwoon hurriedly searched her robes for another all-sea ball. This was her work all-sea ball. She held it high above her head as if she were searching for reception, and this was 2004. Like, yeah, dude, you're gonna get signal by putting the phone up in the air 2 more feet. Those satellites are fucking at least 17 miles above us, but sure, your puny tiny arms were just enough to break through the interference of the entire Earth's atmosphere and probably a shit ton of space debris. You really life-tacked your way out of this one, Bill Nye the stupid guy.
This feels pointed. I'm not sure at who.
That's my whole life, man. She pressed a few all-see buttons and a visual image of herself appeared. It was a pre-recorded ritual of her in full ritual regalia, but only it was being played at 500% speed. The ritual, which normally would take hours, took only a few minutes. She was like the Captain Crunch of necromancers.
I'd like that explained.
That's a reference. You know the guy who did the hacker who did the phone? He recorded phone tones.
No.
And he would play it. He had a little whistle from a Captain Crunch box, and he would
This
imitate.
sounds so much more interesting than our show.
It is. No, he was like one of the first hackers.
Yeah, I need to look this up.
He would play the tones into the phone and get free phone calls because that's how it worked, right?
I don't think we've ever had a joke that is so smart that we've had to stop and have a conversation about it.
I don't know if it's a smart joke.
I mean, it was too smart for us.
I'm
certainly
making
in
a
here.
note for myself to look this up after we're done.
These things really did change the way we necromance, she thought to herself. As the recorded ritual ended, all the attendants in the room froze in place. One girl, a human girl, tried to move her feet, but was frozen to the ground. She tried to scream, but her mouth was sealed shut. The dull, guttural moan of her terror was muted by her own mouth. Soon all the attendants in the room began to yell and cry through their gritted teeth and closed mouths. The first girl looked down at her frozen foot on the ground and noticed a black set of clawed hands holding her in place. Her eyes widened as fear probably caused her to piss pants, but it's entirely possible that the ritual had frozen all bladders as well.
That's a good excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens to me regularly.
Regularly.
Yeah. And my mum, the vegetable.
It's a sad episode of Story
You got your
Lords.
dad who's a pedophile, your mom's a vegetable. I don't know, man. There's a lot going on over there. She let out another muffled scream as the hand stretched upward into a hand and now an arm. And then the tearing began. Each hand began to tear the flesh off of her legs of the attendants of the room. The screams would have filled the very halls of heck if they weren't muffled. Axwoon sat bopping up and down with all sea phones in her ears as she listened to Steal My Sunshine by Len. It was on her rituals and beach mix she had made 3 summers ago.
Wow.
Everybody's got one of those.
Yeah, you got to put that on there. It's a good one.
Rex and Effect on there a lot.
That's fuck. Now we're talking. It's just a T-Rex, like Rex and Effect.
God, that's genius.
This is how we write shows. When the Black Hands had made their way far enough to tear the meat from the faces of their victims, most had already died of fear and or lack of meat on your body. A troublingly frequent cause of death whenever axe wound was around. In a sudden burst of white light, the hands illuminated into a single ball of magical energy and zooped straight for a special all-sea ball sitting on a pedestal in a place of esteem in her quarters, right next to her Hitachi. Oh, she said as she realized the ritual was nearly complete. Why work hard when you can work more evilly, she thought to herself. On the all-sea ball, a black image of a standard-looking male humanoid appeared. Little princess, it trailed off as if it was not completely whole. My lord, Axwoon bowed and as reverently as she could muster. How goes my plans for this realm? The voice boomed. So far, not great, my lord. The quality of minion in this time period is severely lacking. Just today, I had to kill 2/3 of my minions for the failure of one minions whose name we shall not be repeating, Axwoon sees. And the axe, the figure axed.
Nice.
I wrote that. That's genius.
The realization that you wrote that was better than the joke even, which is crazy.
My whole life, dude. It's just one realization of something after another.
That's most people's
That's most
lives,
people's,
I think.
yeah.
I guess it's like the wonder of living or supposedly that's a thing.
There's a wonder?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mario Wonder?
Oh, that
Yes.
works.
That's the wonder of living in my book.
You went very Dev Patel there.
I like how you pervertedly trailed off there.
It wasn't perverted.
You're making it more perverted. Stop.
Yeah.
I'll put it away.
Lost, Axwood responded curtly. You will need all the help you can get in order to stand against those who would stop us. They are gathering their resources and allies. You must do the same. You need cold steel, as they will be yielding it against us. And you need those you can trust, Axwoon interrupted. You cannot trust anyone. You need those you can sacrifice in the most strategic and efficient way, like in chess. So I'm told I'm more of a hungry hippogriff fan.
Or in fantasy fiction. I'm sorry.
Too soon.
It's been like 30 years.
That's true.
It's true. The figure said evilly as fuck, I wrote.
Nice.
Perfect.
Seek those who are prone to corruption and degeneracy, those who will bend toward the dark. You know, people into hentai and shit, I don't know. Axum tapped her chin. Who is the most manipulatable and degenerate type of being that makes up most of Hex population? Storylords fans, said the image.
I'm glad I didn't already make that joke. I was going to, but I was like, nah, he's gonna. I know.
Said the image, only to be cut off by Axun shouting, "Rock stars!" Yes, that is also what I was saying. Good. The image began to fade away slowly. We'll have a battle of the bands to find the most evil and degenerate minions in all of Daranos, Axun said excitedly. The image of the dark figure slowly reformed. You're not just using this as an excuse to throw another party, are you, an ass? What? Axun said innocently. Nah, I wouldn't do that. Good, because I will be out of town for a few eons, and when I come back, you better have an army of darkness ready to conquer this realm, or so help me, I'll find another princess or whatever to do all that stuff with. Yeah, sure, I got it. No parties, just work. Axfoon smiled at the figure. It grumbles as it faded away back to wherever it came from. Party time, Axfoon yelled, making sure the all-see ball was off. Sire! Sire! A small halfling yelled, running through the halls of an enormous mansion. Even being a halfling, he was dwarfed by the pillars of marble and the sheer immensity of this hall. Can I say dwarfs when I'm talking about a halfling? I'm sure I'll find out.
Again, that degenerate audience will let us know.
What is it, cheese dick? Axel the dragon sighed as he played an enormous unplugged Gibson Flying V. It's Cheldrick, your agent, Cheldrick, the halfling shouted up at the dragon. Cheese dick, I don't have all day. I have a hot date later with Anna the arm ass. Want to know why they named her that, cheese dick? Axel said with a wink. Sire, you must turn on MT All C. Cheldrick said,
Jesus.
as he hefted up a giant all-see remote.
Fucking Christ.
Kurt Choder here, reporting on the latest news and references from 30 years ago. Axel half-heartedly noodled "Kiss Me" by Sixpence None the Richer on his guitar.
Yes. Beautiful.
As he other half-heartedly paid attention to the all-sea ball. Queen of Heck and necromantic pinup fantasy princess Axfoon has just announced the return of Heck's Battle of the Bands. Acts such as Megan Thee Stallion, Dashboard Cornfessional, and a definitely deceased Lou Bega have already signed up.
Damn.
The prize is suspiciously being kept in a secret in this giant box with a ribbon and a question mark on it. It could literally be anything that fits inside of a box this size. Or perhaps the box is a metaphor, in which case I guess the prize could be anything you could imagine, as long as your imagination is bigger than this box. Pass. Axel said flippantly. But sire, Cheese Dick pleaded. No word yet on whether Daranos' hardest, most gut-punching metal band's Wife Bones will be in attendance after rumors of a breakup. When asked if she thought Wife Bones could possibly play, Princess Axwoon simply said, "Those old chode chuggers," and then laughed as she walked away and did the cut it out motion that Uncle Joey did on Full House. Axel stopped mid-riff as the neck of the guitar began to crack and splinter. "She did the cut it out from Uncle Joey!" he screamed as fire belched from his facial orifices. "I've been trying to tell you, sire. We must get on top of this. Do some PR damage control," Cheldrick groveled. "The only PR I'm interested in right now is perforating some rectums," Axel screamed. "We're gonna play. And not only are we gonna play, but we're gonna win. We are Wife Bones. I didn't name this band after the bones of my dead wife's carcass not to be crowned the most metal, hot as heck fire band in all of Daranos." "Very good, sire," Cheldrick bowed. The gymnasium of Heck had been cleaned of any and all visible remains, human and otherwise, for this historic of parties. I mean, minion-finding Battle of the Bands. Axfoon herself sat atop a throne wearing a crown of bones. She rocked back and forth to various bands who were playing just to make a name for themselves. Maybe one day they'll get to tell their grandkids they played in a gymnasium in Heck. That'll be interesting for a group of Gen Alphas more interested in Roblox bucks than they are the real world around them.
Damn.
Too
Fuck
true.
you, Gen Alpha audience.
Now we sound old.
Swipe left.
Swipe left. "Lou Bega is up next, Your Highness," Glutz said to Axfoon. As he walked on stage looking very much alive, Axfoon held out her hands in the WTF position. "I thought this dude was dead, Glut. What the shit gives? How'd he even get in?" Axfoon asked. How did he not get in, my queen? Glut said as Mambo number 5 had everyone in the gym mamboing number 69.
This is a good show.
This was going to be hard to beat. And with Lou Bega at her side, she could take over Darnos through pure musical genius alone. Nobody would know what hit them. Suddenly, the back wall of the gymnasium exploded into a tidal wave of wood, stone, and those tan bricks they built every high school out of. Debris covered Lou Bega and buried him alive, presumably crushing him to death, finally putting to rest the debate of whether or not he's dead or not. Even a small puddle of Lou blood. I wrote Lou blood in capitals like it was his name. Even a small puddle of Lou blood leaked out from under the rubble as the gigantic reptilian foot stomped down and began to tap in time. "We are wife bones and fuck this whole stupid party," shouted Axel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then Wife Bones played the most epic comeback song ever to come on someone's back. "When you're dead, worms eat your face. Just do whatever you want when you're awake. Because when you're dead, worms will eat your face. Nothing matters, not time, not space. Worms will eat your face when you leave this place. If you don't like worms, that's too bad. Because it's only worms that will eat your face and head."
Fuck, that's my favorite song.
The strings of Axel's flying V were vibrating at such a metallic speed that each one began to glow red hot with sheer rocktocular power. An orc in the audience screamed, "I love you, Axel!" as she busted open her tunic tube top to reveal her 6 enormous, totally real mammary glands.
Wow.
One of them had tattooed on it in black speech that said, "Thanks for the mammaries," with a cool S. It said, "with a cool S." The cool S wasn't there. It just said that next to the other thing that it said.
Wow. That tattoo artist did not know what he was doing, or did he?
Or did he? Maybe. Drock Storm Rage, Wife Bones' Cobalt drummer, was double bass pedaling so fast that the vibrations and groove blew the skirts up on everyone within a 2-mile radius. It was said to have even cured erectile dysfunction for those who had it, or so I'm told. A friend told me.
Sure.
Quag, the band's roadie, ran out to replace Axel's legendary guitar picks made out of the toenails of his slain victims. As he did, he held up his hands near Axel's guitar pickups on the guitar and mimed like he was warming his hands, but instead, the sheer volume and power of Axel's playing actually began to sear the flesh from Quag's bones. "Oh, he cooking," said Glut as his tunic blew up from the drum bass. Everyone directly upwind died and had to have a closed casket funeral.
Damn.
Somewhere deep in the woods, a merc monk awoke to the sound of probably the greatest comeback in musical history being played. "Son of a bitch," he yelled under his breath, as to not wake up his beautiful merc monk wife. As he stormed out to the living room, he saw the glow of an all-sea ball. "What is all this racket?" he said to his young merc monk son. "Oh, sorry, Dad, just watching live hate on the old sea boob tube," he said, turning down the volume. "That's okay, son. Just make sure you get some sleep. We have a long day tomorrow," he said as he kissed his son's head. "I love you, Dad." "I love you too, son."
Aww.
It will never last.
Whoa. What the fuck?
Yeah. Dads never do.
Aww.
If at all.
Well.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Guys?
Yeah.
At least he's not a pedophile.
That's true.
As the 69-minute guitar solo came to an end, the first few rows of spectators had been incinerated into pure ash. Those unlucky enough to get 4th or 5th row seats would not have the luxury of a quick death. The dust and debris from all the vaporized bodies and architecture would give them lung problems akin to Gulf War syndrome.
Jesus.
They'd all be dead within the year. Those behind them were in what was called the splash zone, due to the amount of threeing that was going on, spontaneous or otherwise. Wife Bones made your girlfriend wetter than the Sahara during the Holocene era.
Wow.
Which is a shirt you could buy at the shirt vendor for 20 Daranos bucks. or for each of your big toenails. After their one and only song, which took about 3 hours to play, silence fell over the crowd. Those that were left alive, anyway. Clap, clap, clap. A slow clap came from the throne of Axwound. It echoed through the silent gymnasium, which was quiet as a tomb, as it was also a literal tomb for so many who were lucky enough to see this comeback show. I think we have a winner, Axwound shouted as she rose her hands. I don't know what that means. Anyway, they're not all winners, guys. Every survivor began to scream and cheer. We don't care about that kind of shit, Axel roared as he slid his pick down the guitar neck, which somehow played a solo on its own, so beautiful it caused anyone who heard it to stop dead in their tracks and weep in awe. But don't you want to see what's in the box? Axwound yelled as she goaded the crowd. What's in the box? Cried a kobold from the background. With a snap of her fingers, the sides of the box fell apart, revealing a golden ring. A huge golden ring. A cock ring? Said the what's in the box kobold. It's a collar, you frickin' ass-licking moron, Axwound said as she cleared her throat. I want to sign Wife Bones to an exclusive deal. Pass. Swipe left, Axel said immediately. We aren't sellouts. We don't sign with anyone. Music belongs to the masses. Plus, with all C-balls, you can just listen to whatever you want, whenever you want. So I sign with anyone. Because if you don't, I'll kill every single one of you, Axwound smiled. I'm already dead inside, lady. Not much left for you to kill, Axel said, smiling back.
Man, I didn't know Axel was a self-insert, Josh.
I mean, what isn't? Mm-hmm. I do a lot of self-inserting, Jeff.
Like those cigarettes.
Chin rubbing emoji.
Then we're more alike than you know. I too don't give a shit about anything or anyone. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you. I staged this party in order to get close to you. I think you and I could do wonderfully terrible things. I already told you, Toots. Axel spit on the ground a hot fireball. I don't sell out. Think of it as buying in, she said persistently. Read my dick-sucking, tit-licking lips. Pass. Fine, we'll do this the hard way then. Axwound again snapped her fingers as a horde of kobolds and goblins began to pour from each fire exit. Axel laughed at the sheer futility of their deaths as he roasted wave after wave of now sizzling and delicious-smelling minions. I can do this all day, honey, Axel shouted over the screams of roasted minions. Maybe, Axwound said as she checked her nails. But down here, big boy, I'm in charge. She held out a perfectly manicured finger and etched a profane rune in the air. One of them was the cool S. This time it was the cool S and not just the words, it was the cool S.
Cool.
Time began to slow, and as Axel felt the tug of ages pull at him, he slowly glanced toward Quag and Drock to see them aging rapidly. Usually, this life led to short lifespans, but being a dragon had saved Axel from that pain. Not so lucky for Drock and Quag, who were aging to dust right in front of him. As this was going on, the waves and waves of minions covered Axel's body. He was going too slow to move them or do anything about them. One grabbed the giant collar and clamped it down on Axel's neck. The peripherals of his vision began to darken. The last thing he saw were the ravages of time, reducing his band to desiccated husks as worms began to eat their faces. I told you were the last words he could mutter. Finn.
Oh, no! My favorite band!
They just came back!
They just got back together!
Man.
Oh, man, what the fuck?
Who wrote this shit?
That's a great question.
Oh,
that was fucking insane. I loved it.
I love writing Axwound. She's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always good writing
evil.
Yeah. She can do whatever she wants. Yeah. I wish I was her.
Yeah. So do I.
Hey, if you were both axe wound, I wouldn't turn my nose up at it. That's all I'm saying.
I got a golden ring for you.
A cock ring.
A wedding ring.
I was sad about Gerald. Or Gerard.
Gerald.
Whatever you wanted to call him.
Poor Gerald. He was a dick, though. He was a bully.
Yeah.
So he's...
Gerald never defrauded anything, is all I'm saying.
True.
What do you think he's in Heck, dude?
Oh.
He was a huge defrauder. Dude defrauded everyone.
At least he got his comeuppance.
Yeah, what must that be like?
Yeah, at least-
Staring directly at the camera.
Yeah.
At least he got his comeuppance.
Great story, Josh.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
That fucking rolled.
Let's talk about an internet
you.
personality who isn't a dickhead. Yeah, it was really good. Buddy.
That's going to be hard to do.
It's going to be tarred, did you say?
Dude, I can't talk, man. Can you please help? I just need help.
It's gonna be
Help me.
targ to do.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was good. And also, kudos on not going back to that episode that you haven't finished 2 episodes ago.
Which one?
It's a good
Oh,
question.
the ants. With the ants,
Yeah.
yeah. That's common. That's common.
Keep
Everything's
them
common.
going, man. Like, torture
Keep-
these
keep your-
motherfuckers.
Keep your fucking thorax on. It's coming.
Yeah, hold your mandibles, bro.
Excellent. Excellent work. Right, we're going
All right.
to take a break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Just as an aside, cucumber is, because it grows from flowers and contains seeds, it's botanically a fruit. So Rich is right.
I
Suck.
swear.
You guys suck. Suck
to
a dick.
God.
And the worst kind of dick. A skanky dick.
This podcast is over.
I mean, you don't. All right. You know what? I will give this, though, to you. It is in America. I don't know if you have this in England because you don't have food. That's not brown. But in America, we have like those like fruit platters where you get for parties, and cucumbers are on them.
Look, if you wait long
Seems
enough,
like you should have
all
known.
food becomes brown.
But
True.
it's true. But so are carrots. I don't know, Rich. Are carrots a vegetable? Fruit too?
Do they grow from flowers? No. They grow in the
Do
ground.
you grow from flowers?
If you want me to.
No one is having fun on this podcast right now, Rich.
This is terrible.
Anyway, it's me up reading next, and my episode is called Springtime for Humie.
Oh boy.
Oryx could hear the man circling him, even with the bag over his head. Bear in mind he was a crocodile with a rather large snout, so it had to be a long sleeping bag, like an XXL, with the extra footroom. It was actually quite lovely and comfy. But still, even through the quilted muffle, he could almost visualise those squeaky, black, knee-high boots marching around him in wide, lunging steps. They had caught him after he had stormed off to try and save Humie and Florgo, had set upon him like a swarm of venomous little insects. "You have given my men a runaround, Herr Crocodile. And now we have 2 of your allied superweapon friends," the man said.
This is the best German accent I've ever heard.
Hey, you knew it was German. That's all it needs.
Only because he said und.
Yeah, I did change some of the words in it so that I could remember what accent it was.
What it was, yeah, it's smart.
"We have you by the Johann Thomas. Is that how we say this?" Oryx smirked. He could taste the man's sweat on the air. Too much bratwurst and erection medicine in his diet. He just had to play for time. He had to hope the others would find him soon. "You can shove your frets up your Johann Thomas," Oryx said. "I am not assisting your warped band of sausage-sucking psychopaths." 2 men pulled the bag off Oryx's head, and there, standing in front of him, was the iron cross hanging at the neck of the blonde-haired Nazi general, General Ruprecht Schlongwanger. And now, my scaly friend, help us to convince your little magic boy to help us, and we will let you both go. Oryx laughed. What does a has-been Nazi piece of scum want with Florgo? Haven't you watched Indiana Jones here, Oryx? A robotic voice declared from behind Schlongwanger and used his metallic hands to push the general out of the way. Hume stood there, but he was different. Hands held behind his back and legs tightly clasped together. He had smeared a small line of black grease above his mouth slot.
No! What the fuck, Hume?
Hitler loves magic.
Oh, fuck.
Sometime earlier, I don't know, I'm not wearing a watch. What am I, Mr. Time? Like, Jesus, do we need to spell everything out to you?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Jesus, hamburger Christ, will you get off my back, woman? Hallgrim hissed from the forests surrounding the village of Dusselhoffmanberg, the totally real German town I have most certainly not made up because I'm too lazy to do any real research.
I went to Oktoberfest in Dusselhoffenberg.
There you
Look,
go.
if there is any rhyme or reason to this podcast, there are going to be 2 people from Dusselhoffmanberg who listen to our podcast who are going to get very angry at you.
One of them teaches American English in Dusselhoffenberg.
They're going to be so mad at you for getting all of the Dusselhoffmanberg lore wrong.
Yeah, the accent is slightly an octave higher.
It's more like a Belgian accent you're doing. That's what they're going to say.
You're playing with fire, that's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to assess the lay of the land. Asher glared. Your back is... what did I go... I went weirdly Scottish then.
It's all right.
Your back
Got a lot
is
of
something even sex-deprived leeches wouldn't want to get on, Hallgrim.
Damn.
Ew.
I just want you to be careful for once and not get us seen, kidnapped, or involved in something really sinister and threatening, like improv club or something.
Yo, for real.
A sound file with the studio audience reaction to Kelly Bundy coming down the stairs played from Hume's chest. And he put his hands on his
God,
hips sassily.
Fucking the mind meld is happening.
Why don't
Know your audience.
Why don't you two just link docking ports already? Hume said. Kellen sat Doomcock down by the log she was sitting on and raised her hands to them. Can we have just like one day without fighting or arguing? I'm just trying to work out how to use this thing properly. Can I have some peace and quiet? Oryx scoffed. If we had to stay quiet in expectation of you mastering that warhammer, our party may as well rift to Tibet and take vows of silence.
Damn.
Everyone's on fire today, man.
Hume played a studio audience ooh sound file. Florgo stood up and gripped his spellbook. Hey, that's out of line, Oryx. Oh, David Knobberfield is interested now, is he?
It works.
Mate, you couldn't be any more transparent if you cast one of your unreliable invisibility spells, Hallgrim muttered. Maybe if that chicken scratch handwriting of yours was more legible, you could write Kellen some love poetry or something.
Damn.
That's not... You can't call that
That's
out.
across the line.
That's not cool.
It had been like this for weeks now, the fighting, the bickering. She remembered what Raph said about her own friends not being available. Was it because they had all left her? It had to stop. Kellen stood. Right, I'm sick of this. We need to let off some steam. Let's head into this town and get a drink. Or 7. Asher looked at the others in surprise and then turned back to Kellen, who had already begun walking off and out of the forest to the hamlet of small houses below. Kellen, are you sure that's wise? No, but I am sure one of us is going to be pasted on this hammer if we don't do something different. What is the worst that can happen?
Hume can turn into Hitler.
Hume played a shocked gasp of anticipation, but no one quite caught it. The bustling market town of Dusselhoffmanberg was in full flow of trading, and as the crew passed through the crowd, hidden under Florgo's magic disguises, A weight seemed to have been lifted off their shoulders. Hume had refused the spell, and instead had fashioned himself some lederhosen and a hat with a large white feather. He carried a stein of beer out in front of him and never drank from it once.
I mean, if this is like 1932, this is like pretty accurate.
The town seemed to be almost too pleasant. Everyone was laughing and joking. Children playing in the street with sticks and hoops. No catcalling, no arguments. People's two big smiles almost painted on.
Trains are running on time.
Animals are safe. Florgo turned to Kellen and whispered, I don't know much about this period of Earth history, but it wasn't known for its cheeriness, was it? Hardly, Oryx growled as he picked up a newspaper. The year is 1947, and we are in Germany. Earth had just gone through a world war that decimated about 5% of its population. There were ingrained resentments that eventually spread into World War III, and then the Tech Wars, which were documented in a very odd book by historian William Shatner.
He's like fucking, like, what's his name, the Roman historian? Fucking Herodotus or whatever the fuck his name is.
Then the Storage Wars.
Herodotus nuts.
Nice. Alley-oop, buddy.
Then the Storage Wars, which were largely undocumented, but for some small excerpts in TV Guide.
TV Guide!
These people look like they've been fucked into a happy coma. You know, the one where you forget how miserable life... Oh, sorry, I read it in the wrong word. Voice, I will do that again. These people look like they've been fucked into happy coma. You know, the one where you forget how miserable life is. When no one but Hallgrim nodded, Asher took the paper from Oryx. Feared that there is no mention of this world war in this news sheet. Just fluff pieces and good news stories. When did you become such a fan of Earth history, friend Oryx? Hume muttered as they walked along. Guten Tag, fellow beer enjoyer, he said loudly to a market stall seller, who smiled at him blankly. How about those local sports teams? They did badly or well, depending on the sport, did they not?
He's nailed this human thing.
Sports! A number of men close to him cheered with no joy in their voice.
See?
Oryx clenched his jaw. I found myself on Earth a long time ago. A long time before this. I do not wish to converse on the subject right now. Hallgrim squinted. We're travelling through time, mate. We were on a Titanic a few months ago. You've got to be a little bit more specific. Yeah. Do you mean when you were younger or earlier than 1948's Earth? He laughed. But when Oryx glared at him, the team shared looks. Oryx? Kellen said, putting a hand to a friend's arm. Anything that's said here can't make her current situation any less bearable. Asher watched them. It was close, the breaking point for their little group. She could feel it now. Oryx went to speak, but was interrupted by a buxom, pigtailed, Bavarian-dressed woman in her late 20s who was suddenly all up in Kellen's face. Hello, newcomers, who are not at all suspicious, she said. A crazy... Go on.
German. That's what Germans say.
A crazy smile and wide eyes, her hair in braids. You have arrived in time for the final of the only competitive sport that Germans are allowed to participate in anymore.
Drinking.
Cooking.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
She noticed Hallgrim trying hard not to stare at her cleavage, his neck muscles bulging as if a hydraulic press was pushing down on the top of his head. She giggled. Scratch that, Kellen said, rolling her eyes. We have lots of food for your trying, pretzels and cakes and sweet pie. The woman grabbed Hallgrim's hand and pulled him along quickly. If there's anything I'm good at, miss, it's tasting sweet pie, Hallgrim smirked.
Nice.
Oh, Jesus.
Nice.
Smirked back at Asher, who glared at him as if she could kill him. The festival allowed them to gorge on food and beer, forgetting their woes, and more accurately each other. They separated completely, and while Florgo would normally have welcomed solitude, he found his thoughts drifting, as they had often recently, to Kellen. They'd become inseparable in the last few months, though he was too scared and too much of a pussy to do anything about it.
Damn.
God knows what she saw in him, the shy, retiring type, who is as introverted as a squirrel's testicles in the winter.
Tiring type. What's that? Am I right, millennials?
Aww.
Yeah, that word's going to go out of our lexicon very shortly.
Yep.
Suddenly, he felt a small tugging on his robes, and it wasn't because he was still thinking about Kellen. Are you a wizard? A small voice came from down at his knee. When he looked up, when he looked down, 4 German children were looking at him with big eyes from the mouth of an alley. Ugh, I know, right? Kids. Can't live with them, can't hold their fucking little heads under the bathwater until they stop telling you about whatever banal experience they've had at school with all their stupidly named friends. Bengal? You've got a kid in your class called Bengal? I know you want your child to be a unique little snowflake, but all you've done is make a future batch of CV sifting bots laugh metallically as they chuck your kid's job application, serving our robot overlord straight in the bin. Maybe you can get a job as a cereal mascot.
Jesus fucking Christ. Father of the Year, Rich Masters, everybody.
Does Evan have a friend named Bengal?
No, but he's got a few that are weird. Jago?
Yeah, there's some weird one. Jaco?
Jago.
Like, wait.
Jago? What is this, Star Wars?
No, like the ninja from Killer Instinct? Jago?
I think so.
Is that what it's from?
I don't know.
Yeah, the main character of Killer Instinct is a ninja named Jago.
Well, there you go.
What the fuck?
Well, there you Jago.
Why didn't you just name him Liu Kang? Jesus.
Yeah, well, you know, Johnny fucking Cage.
Evan
dude.
comes home. This is my new friend, Sub-Zero. You are not playing with him, young man.
Well, that would rule is the difference.
This is my new friend Goro. He has 4 arms.
Quick jump kick him in the face.
Yeah, go against the wall and jump kick.
But Florgo, being the weird loser that we all know he is, humoured these little crotch goblins, smiling in return and bending down to them. He pulled a finger to his lips and then whispered, "Yeah, but don't tell anyone." He pulled his hastily scribbled spellbook out and muttered an incantation under his breath. An ethereal blue flame bear danced on his palm, causing the children to chuckle in wonder before he snuffed it out. If only women...
This is how Hitler finds you.
If only women loved this trick as much as kids did. I have someone in mind who would enjoy your magic very much, my friend. Florgo turned to find a tall, blonde man towering over him. He snatched the book from Florgo's hands, turning the pages as the children around them scattered in fear. Florgo stood slowly. Lots of interesting things in here. Transmogrification, magic for parties and social situations. Balloon giraffes, a beginner's guide. How to summon. He read the hastily scribbled word demon and smirked. Very interesting. To our Führer! He lifted a finger and gestured, not taking the eyes off the book, as Nazi soldiers flooded the alley and dragged the man away.
God damn Dusseldorfenhofer.
Hallgrim let himself be led by, let's say, the hand, even though it was pretty clear that Hallgrim was being led by something else entirely.
Ooh.
What do you mean?
Well, you'll just have to wait. Any casual observer would say he was being shallow, his first interest in her giant chest, but he maintained that was not fair because she had a cracking behind too.
Nice.
They arrived.
That's all I care about.
They do all have cracks.
Dear God. They arrived at a small house on the outskirts of the village, and the woman hung in the doorway seductively, trailing a finger around her dress's low neckline. Would you like to come inside? She whispered. Hallgrim was taken aback. Wow, you German girls are pretty open, aren't you? Oh, wait, you mean the house?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, all right.
I guess.
As she led him inside to the small bedroom at the back of the house, before he could say anything, she pushed him onto the bed and then made for the bathroom attached. I am going to make myself more uncomfortable, she said, before vanishing through the door and closing it behind her. In response, Hallgrim's clothes were off faster than Trump's diaper after a busy day, ironically, Nazi rallying.
Nice. You don't know. You think he takes it off? I don't think he can.
No,
I think he has somebody do it.
He has people who do it for him.
Yeah.
And don't be all like, That is an irony in a Alanis Morissette way, because irony is whatever I need it to be to make an effective joke. So fuck off.
Dude, I love that Rich is getting on this yelling at the audience thing. They need it.
They need to learn.
Yeah.
He laid back on the bed, spread-eagled and waiting, hoping that Florgo's spell was going to be up to the closest scrutiny. The door swung open, and the woman stood in guerrilla combat gear with a rifle pointed at Hallgrim. Note to Josh, which rifle would be most appropriate in this time era?
Well, for Germany, none.
A Thompson still?
No.
M1 Garand was...
M1 would be probably, but like they had their own guns in World War II.
All right, okay. All right. So inconclusive.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This feels educational to me.
Get up, you Nazi scum, she whispered in her thick British accent. I mean, it's my accent, so it's going to still be the same. Hallgrim tilted his head and grimaced. Look, I'm all up for roleplay and all, believe me. There is consensual sex shit I have done that would make your average YouTuber blush. But calling me a Nazi is sinking my Bismarck, if you get my drift. Hallgrim was amused with his perfectly apropos double entendre, but the woman grew even more annoyed. If you think we're going to let them transfer Hitler's brain into you, you have another thing coming, my friend. Hallgrim really tried to get on board, the scenario not one he'd thought of before, but he just couldn't. Nah, I'm not into it, love. Hughie, the totally real human, was loving life. With one arm he held a bowl, with another he cracked eggs. He turned his third arm into a whisk, whilst he sliced apples and scattered raisins with a fourth. And while the crowd cheered as he stood behind the stall and prepared his cake batter, he thought that this might be the happiest he'd ever been in his time as a human.
He found his calling.
A timer pinged, and the crowd gathered looked amongst themselves in confusion. But he hadn't even put the mix in yet. Do not worry, fellow lovers of food, Hughie announced as his 3D printer popped out a large French chef's hat that he placed upon his head with gusto. I just had to get into the part. Oh.
Downloading French stereotype.
The crowd cheered, all except one tall, blonde-haired man who just stared in awe at the miraculous thing in front of him. And now we place the cake in the oven, but with a splash of pizzazz. Hughie opened up his central compartment in his chest and placed the cake inside. He switched a button on his chest that said nuclear option, and the oven timer pinged almost instantly.
It's just irradiating the cake.
As he opened the compartment, the smell of strudel-like cake filled the market square, and if the crowd had have been cartoons, they would have wafted along, floating on the smell as their nostrils twitched.
God. The connection between these stories is so strong.
With a flourish, he pressed a button on his head and dispensed a cloud of icing sugar out of his mouth in a thick dusting, coating the strudel cake and sending a cloud of white out around himself. As the dust settled, the strudel plate suddenly dropped and clattered against the table, and the crowd cheered again. A woman with a large novelty ribbon came to the stall, coughing and waving her arms at the cloud of confectioner's sugar. "We have our first winner," she proudly declared. But as she reached through the clearing miasma, just hitting that old prompt button again, look out for such classics as Princesses and Disasters coming soon.
Princesses and Disasters too.
Hughie was gone.
What?
What do you mean, gone? Oryx growled, furiously swishing his tail back and forth by the campfire in the woods. The hamlet isn't even that big. How could we lose a mage, a cyborg, and a human who resembles a robot? The crew had come to a decision recently that as long as Hughie identified as a human, that was what he was. They did that because they were good people, and it was
That's
right.
sweet.
And because it was none of their damn business what he identified as. I wonder what I could be getting at here. Seems I'm just rolling over old ground. But I digress. As in, not here, Oryx, Asher said. Hume was last seen being really covert and winning bakery event. Florgo marched off, and maybe he was never real when we imagined someone so boring in penance in penance for some past sins. And and Hallgrim is getting his probably every part of him wet. It is no big deal. We all needed some space. I don't know, Ash. I think this place is weird, Kellen said. There are nothing but white people with zombie smiles on their faces. This has a distinctly anti-ethnic, cyborg and trans vibe about it. But we cannot nanny state entire crew. They need to be free to... Asher started.
Fucking
So
nanny
British.
state.
That's so British.
Oryx stood tipping over the log he was sitting on as he did. Die, Asher. Be lost to their fate. Our futures aren't all as assured as some of us in the group, you know. The leaves around them rustled as Hallgrim ran into the clearing half-dressed and collapsed to the floor, a woman behind him carrying a rifle. Suddenly they were surrounded by 20 other men and women, all with guns trained on the crew. Oryx spun, baring his teeth, whilst Asher and Kellen drew their weapons, but Hallgrim lifted his hands. No. Don't be fucking idiots, he wheezed. Cardio not being his thing unless it was of the horizontal variety.
Even still. It's...
This is Bridget. She runs an allied Nazi hunting unit here in Germany. Brigitte, she corrected him. Look, considering you nearly shot my unmentionables off, Princess Disaster. There you go. You should be lucky I'm calling you something I feel comfortable mentioning in front of more innocent ears. No offence, Oryx. What is happening? Where are the others, Hallgrim? Asher asked. In a sort of shit you wouldn't believe, Hallgrim said. And so, in true Omniverse style, I'll spare you from Hallgrim's explanation of what General Schlongwanger intended to do, and we'll just jump back to the start of the story. Look, I've got places to be, alright? That place may be bed, but it's still a place.
He's really... This was, like, last night.
Yeah. Hume stood in front of Oryx, as the soldiers around him lifted their arms to salute him. It was definitely not Hume anymore. The way he held himself in his gross, somehow sweaty-looking stance, his nervousness, his somehow more dickless energy than Hume normally had. How is this possible? Said Oryx, squinting for some sign of his friend. Simple brain transference to your marvellous... Sorry, go on.
Simple.
Simple, yeah. Simple for 1947.
Yeah, just plop it in there.
To your marvellous robotic friend, Hitlerbot said, flexing and unflexing his fingers. This body is amazing, except for the 0 testicles. I cannot get used to that. I miss having 1, as 1 is the most appropriate number to have. Is it not, General Schlongwanger? The general fawned around Hitler and nodded. Oh, yes, mein Führer. In obsequiousness, I would offer to chop one off were you to but ask, as would we all. Right, men? The assembled Nazis looked at each other in disappointment and then glared at Schlongwanger. Yes, sir, they sighed in unison. And so, Hitlerbot said, marching around and ignoring his sycophants. I intend to get your magician to summon a demonic body for me to enact my revenge on the world. There will be no more laughing at my misfortune, or haircut, or moustache, or my minuscule penis. I mean ego! Minuscule ego is what I clearly meant! Schlongwanger gets the boy!
Oh my god, this is so good. This is so good.
Holy shit, Rich.
This is
That
so
was
good.
great.
Oryx sniggered, but the man was clearly deranged. They had to get this crackpot out of Hume quickly. Schlongwanger dragged a badly beaten Florgo from an adjacent room and dumped him and his spellbook in front of Oryx. Hey, buddy, he said woozily. Oryx bent down slightly in the chair he was tied to and tried to assess his friend's injuries. You all right? They want me to read this incantation, but I keep trying to tell them. Florgo was interrupted as Hitlerbot's metallic foot slammed into his ribs. You will say only what we say that you can say. Wait, I lost track. Say what we say. Shut up and read the incantation!
How is he making Hitler this funny?
Oh my god. Not since Charlie Chaplin has anyone...
Nah.
Florgo pulled the book up in front of his face. This is going to need the blood of a loyal follower. One of the Nazi soldiers threw his rifle on the floor and pushed his friend. That is it, Carl. Join the Nazis, you said. See the world, you said. Meet interesting people, you said. And now, this one bald shizer wants blood? I am done, Carl. I am done. As he left, one by one, the Nazis peeled off and followed him out of the door to the warehouse. What are you doing? You traitors! You fickle Friedrichs! You... Schlongwanger said before Hitlerbot grabbed him by the shoulder. Do not worry, Hitlerbot smiled. The boy was non-specific about where the blood was to come. As Schlongwanger opened his mouth to protest, Hitlerbot punched a hole clean through him and dropped him to the floor. Is that enough, sorcerer? Florgo nodded and started reading. Ventusk, Parabis, Taint Maple. Wait. Wait. One of the words in that incantation is Taint Maple? Oryx interrupted. Florgo nodded. Yeah, it's weird, right? It means blood in the old Vale tongues, but it's a really weird word to use. Oryx shook his head. It's astonishing. We are not here for an etymology lecture. Read the verdammt spell. Hitlerbot stamped his foot. Florgo shrugged. Your funeral, pal. Hooks, Bedlaphis, Spectrix, Yaninin, Vey. The room was filled with a sudden purple, demon-birthing fog, and Hume fell to the floor in a heap of clanging metal just as Hallgrim, Asher and Kellen opened the warehouse door. The sound of gunfire could be heard clearly outside. Weird that those Nazis tried to charge us without guns, Hallgrim said. Weird or not, they died just the same as all Nazis should. Asher wiped the blood from her knives onto her sleeves and resheathed them. Kellen ran to Florgo and put his face in her hands. He was already bleeding, the bruising and swelling starting to show. Man, you look like flattened shit. Might give his face some character. Face that boring, surely needs something to set it out from your average paving slab.
Damn.
Oryx writhed, looking panicked. Quick, Hallgrim, sever my bonds. We have to be ready for Hitler's demon form. Hallgrim untied his friends and then looked him dead in the eye. Are we in a JRPG or something? Florgo slammed the book shut and walked into the purple fog. Nah, don't worry about it. We're fine. I couldn't work out why he was so interested in that incantation. He came back out of the fog holding a yellow fruit. Why did he want to transfer himself into a fruit anyway?
Oh
Asher took it from him, dropped it to the floor, and then crushed it beneath her boot heel. More like, heel Hitler, Florgo said. And everyone looked at him in disgust. Mate, let me stick to the jokes and you stick to whatever it is you do. Reading? Being a fucking twerp? Hallgrim shrugged.
Rough.
Kellen opened the spell book. How to summon a... Oh my god, does this say lemon? Your handwriting is atrocious, Florgo. I almost feel sorry for the Nazis.
A demon.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
I knew
freeze framed.
I fucking knew it.
This dude's been playing Wordle.
They all freeze framed as the words written by Rich Masters appeared on screen. Hume reactivated and stood up slowly. Why is everyone so still? He said, wiping the grease spot off his lip. Thank you for saving me from being a fascist friend group, Hume said hours later as Kellen prepped Doomcock for travel. She put an arm around him. Hey, you used to be a cop. We had experience. She placed Doomcock between them. She placed Doomcock between them, slamming it into the ground. I think I might have this nailed. Just like I did to that resistance fighter, Budget, or whatever her name was.
Budget!
God damn.
Budget! Rent-a-car!
Asher put her hand on his shoulder. She told me you cried. Cried with sexual dominance, maybe, Hallgrim muttered.
That's right.
Kellen shut her eyes. Guys, I need to concentrate, please. If I open a rift with the hammer without... Can we just talk about how we just killed Adolf Hitler? Florgo said smugly. Hughie shuddered. Please don't remind me. I have defragged my skin 10 times and still feel dirty. Kellen twitched as the portal began to open. Please, guys. Oryx's face glitched and flickered. Kellen, something feels incongruous. Sweat poured down Kellen's face as she struggled. Stop talking. I'm trying to keep... The rift opened and splintered like broken glass, each piece flashing a different colour. She felt them slip away from each other, tearing and painful, and she reached for Asher, but her fingers phased through her sister's hand. Asher! She yelled, and though Asher called back, she couldn't hear her. The rift took them all, leaving the German forest silent. Kellen woke with sand on her face, caked in the blood that had flowed from her nostrils. She looked around and accidentally into the midday sun. Once the vision was back, she scanned her surroundings in the wind. Mountains, desert, and nothing, and no one but Doomcock next to her, just rocks and sand. Hello, she whispered. Florgo came stumbling from behind a rock, holding his head. My God, what happened? She ran to him and squeezed him hard, and he returned her hug earnestly. I thought I'd lost you all, she cried, burying her head into his shoulder. It's okay, we'll just find the others and get going again. He looked around. Where the heck are we? She looked up into his face. I've got no idea. The end.
Reese's Island!
I gotta follow that?
That was amazing.
What the fuck? That was incredible.
That was so fucking funny, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, that might be your absolutely funniest story.
That was so good.
I was convinced that one. You know when you write it late and you haven't had even like I wasn't even convinced I'd put any jokes in when I finished it. I was like,
you just starting.
Yeah, that's how I feel about mine.
Yeah. No, that was so good.
That was absolutely incredible.
It took us 39 episodes for someone to turn into Hitler.
My original title, which I did change, was Make Way for Hitler's Brain. And then I was like, no, I need it to be a little bit of a surprise. I can't do that.
That's so good.
It was a surprise.
I like how Hitler died as a lemon.
Yeah. As soon as you were like, you started talking about how to summon a demon, and you had mentioned earlier that his handwriting was so bad, I was like, is Rich really gonna...
He did it.
Yeah,
He did it.
I did.
The son of a bitch did it.
He did it.
And you know what? I'm that Rick and Morty gif. You son of a bitch, I'm in. Let's go.
So fucking good, dude.
Yeah,
I do like.
That was so good.
I do like trying to make really shitty jokes as funny as I can possibly make
Yes.
them. Like,
Yes.
You're really good at that.
Thanks.
You're really good at writing shitty jokes, Rich.
Thanks. I think. How many episodes are we into the story? We're like 13 in. We're halfway, right?
20.
That'd be right, yeah.
7, 6, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 26
14.
episodes a season.
Yeah, so we're halfway through. Okay, right, fine. I cut it at the right bit. I had this sort of like creeping sensation as I was reading, like, oh, I've split them up way too early. And then I realised, nah, it's fine. Halfway
Yeah, I always
You'll
think it's
figure it
early,
out.
but
You'll
halfway.
figure it out.
I have a roadmap here, and it's just a blank piece of paper.
You guys got pieces of paper?
And it's also in the drawer. I don't even know.
I have paper somewhere in my house.
There's some paper somewhere.
Right, well, glad you enjoyed. We're going to take another break, and we'll be back for part 3. How good were those first 2 parts? How good.
They were so good.
And now you've got another good part to come. So...
It's a 3-course meal, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Those first 2 parts were the appetizer, or the food foreplay, as I like to call it.
I may have burnt the dessert, is all I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sure you haven't. Right.
I ordered the lobster. It don't matter to me.
I'll have what he's having. Jeff, you're up. Take us through the door to spooky fishing.
The title of this one is the title of this one.
Nice.
Wow.
Previously on Spooky Vision.
Jesus.
Now, what brings y'all here this fine evening, Dev, my boy? You looking for a nice cup of coffee? Or a rat? We now continue with Spooky Vision. Jason Grace had spent the better part of half a season of this God's forsaken show with his head up his ass, searching high and low, at least over the distance of about 20 miles between the 2 towns I bothered to create.
That's pretty much everywhere.
For the whereabouts of his younger brother Archie. Now, those in the know will have found this entire plotline kinda sadistic to put a dude through, since Archie got vivisected to fuck and back by a big old bug man near the beginning of the season. But it's leading somewhere, I promise you. Just fucking deal with it for a little while longer. Jesus.
Thank you. Fucking tell him, dude.
Go off.
But given all that, here Jason stood, face to face with his long-lost younger brother. Archie looked exactly as he remembered him, with a bright smile on his face and his hands outstretched to him for a welcoming hug, just like every time Jason had come back from college. But instead of being at home where their parents got increasingly angry at Jason for telling his younger brother stories about boofing and threesomes in toilet stalls, they were now standing in a big empty warehouse behind a taxidermy/coffee shop. It would make sense if you listened to the last episode.
Yeah.
Parentheses, writer's note, it wouldn't. But they weren't alone here. Jason had arrived with his new friend, named Dev Durwood III. Some kind of fucked up Potara earring fusion of Urkel and your uncle who swears on his life he once kissed Bigfoot. Saw Bigfoot, saw him, and that's all.
We're going to gloss over that Dragon Ball Z reference.
You know me. For his part, Dev just stared on in utter confusion, not knowing who the fuck these white people even were to begin with, so having no context for why Jason had suddenly become so emotional. Archie, I finally found you, man. Where have you been? Jason knelt down to Archie's height and wrapped his arms around his younger brother, pressing him in tightly to his chest. Tears began to well in Jason's eyes, the heavy certainty
a cricket.
the heavy certainty that he was on a wild goose chase and would never see his brother again evaporating from his mind and finally lightening his heart. I got lost, Jason. I was so scared, Archie said in a slightly hoarse, floaty whisper, his own arms wrapping tightly around his brother's torso underneath the blue jean jacket he always wore. Dev watched on, piecing together that they must be related or something by this point, but not much else.
Context clues.
Feeling a strange unease begin to well up in his chest. He looked around the room warily, feeling like he was being observed from afar all of a sudden, but he didn't see anything in the barely lit darkness that hovered at distance from them. But when his eyes turned back to Jason, the young boy he was holding, there was the faintest flicker of silver in the air above them.
Bitch has a cricket.
It caught Dev's eyes almost immediately and sent his heart to pounding inside of his chest like a violent beating at the door. He had seen this flash of metallic light in the air only once before in his life. "Oh, cheese 'em, Jason! Jason!" Dev began to yell out.
Oh, jeez.
But Jason didn't even move. The lights began to flicker around them, and suddenly Dev felt 1,000,000 miles away from his new companion, his voice barely catching on the wind any longer, remaining trapped in his throat. The darkness that was once torn open by dim white light here and there throughout the massive room was now horribly obliterated by brilliant scarlet light which bathed the entire scene like a giallo thriller from wall to wall. "You left me to die, Jason," Archie hoarsely whispered out into Jason's ear, his voice hissing and popping painfully against his eardrum.
Yeah, get out of it, Georgie from It.
Jason yanked his head back away from his younger brother in shock, his eyes widening instantly at what he was now holding in his arms. It was still Archie. The incredibly horrific pain in his chest told him that. But the boy's body was broken, ripped open, bleeding all over Jason's clothing. Archie's face was mostly gone, leaving only a singular untouched eye and half of his mouth worth of flesh on his head.
Jesus, the Hitler story was funnier than this.
We'll get the jokes. Be scared now. But even that wasn't enough. A long, disgusting, sluicing slice of some unseen blade drug itself across Archie's throat, severing his head from his shoulders entirely, and dropping it directly into the scrambling Jason's lap as he tried to get away.
What the fuck?
Jason screamed, finally, his voice leaving his throat after what felt like an eternity. But the sound of his scream was completely overshadowed by the high-pitched, ear-splitting B-horror movie scream queen screech that had finally escaped Dev's throat a few feet behind him. Please, Archie! Jason screamed out at the top of his lungs as he tried to wrench his body away from the vice-like grip of the corpse of his own brother, but he could not budge, not even an inch away. The face in his lap sneered a lipless, hateful sneer, the distorted, scratchy voice of Archie escaping its hollow, endless maw as it mocked his own words back at him. Please, Archie! Please, Archie! The severed head began to cackle wildly, the bright red light that engulfed the entire warehouse suddenly dying out, leaving the encroaching darkness around them once more. But each dull halogen in their swaying metal lamps above them still burned a keen red, which only served to make the darkness around them more deeply black. From within the darkness, lengths of metallic string came falling down around Jason as if being unspooled from far above, surrounding him in a perfect circle. The small hands of his brother held him tightly in place as each of those metal wires began to snap taut around his body.
It's Madam Beehive.
Huh?
Madam Web.
My favorite movie.
It's webbing time.
The metal wires began to snap tight around his body, digging into his flesh and causing him to scream bloody murder from the pain. I tried to save you! Jason screamed louder and louder as each wire tore deeper into him, until all of them were wrapped around him like a jagged metal cocoon. Then each wire began to draw back into the darkness, lifting both Jason and the corpse of his brother up into the inky blackness beyond the light, which engulfed them, devoured them, and left no sight of them in turn. Dev had not stopped screaming bloody murder at a pitch mostly only dogs could hear this entire time.
It's helpful.
Just as suddenly as the lights had come and gone before the entire room was lit to... damn it, Jeff, write better. Just as suddenly as the lights had come and gone before, the entire room was lit to within blinding levels by scorching hot crimson light, which threatened to blind Dev where he lay on the ground screaming. Dev placed both hands over his eyes, but peered through the blinding brightness just the same between his fingers. Above him, high above where the top of the warehouse should have been, was a blood-red moon hanging low in the night sky.
I hate this stupid moon!
And just in front of it, silhouetted against its searing brightness, was the unmistakable shape of a woman's body, held aloft by two sets of immense, widespread moth wings, which threatened which threatened to blot out the light behind him by their sheer enormity. Dev, not being quite as white as some of the other protagonists of these stories, immediately jumped to his feet and began to run away as fast as humanly fucking possible.
Yeah.
As he ducked around several corners of shelves full of, like, beavers and shit that had been taxidermied, he couldn't help note that the blinding red light had subsided once again, replaced all over again by the barely lit darkness of the old warehouse. Not that stopped him from running. He couldn't even begin to fathom where he'd even stop at this point. Honestly, maybe he would never stop.
Hold on, Dev. This is the closest you're ever going to get to a beaver.
Oh!
I thank you.
Bow for that one. He caught sight in the distance of a set of double doors that didn't slow down for anything. Even as he ran, he could hear and feel the massive beating of wings of something insurmountably large just behind him, just always out of reach. It all made him pump his spindly little nerd arms and legs harder than he'd ever done before. Bam! He burst through the doors and leapt onto the floor behind a bunch of stacked boxes, rolling into a Sonic the Hedgehog-ass dweeb ball as he tucked behind them for cover.
A dweeb ball.
The double doors swung shut with a heavy clasping thud behind him, and he sat quietly, his chest heaving and every muscle in his body burning. This room was fairly lit within compared to the rest of the warehouse, so he finally kinda knew where he was. The stacked boxes everywhere told him that this must have been a shipping department. He wasn't really aware of Uncle Otis doing this kind of gangbusters business stuffing skunks, but it looked like he had brought it all fairly recently. In the center of the room, from floor to ceiling, was a gigantic box-crushing machine, like a huge piston stamp. The screen on the front of it read Standby, and a slowly blinking light underneath it labeled Activation. Seemed fancy, and probably plot relevant.
It's Terminator 1.
What bleeds does not always die. A voice from the other side of the door filtered in on Waverly, Waverly on the breeze beyond, muffled and garbled in the interim. Dev sat up and pressed his back against some of the boxes, trying to make his already small frame as small and unnoticeable as possible. Beyond the mind it waits to breathe, the endless time and deeper seethe, a crimson veil that hides the lie. That what bleeds does not always die.
And worms will eat your face when you die.
Gone, gone, the form of man.
I thought that was pretty good. Fuck
It's
you both.
good.
That was
No, it was
awesome.
good. That's why we said it was good.
For 5 straight minutes after the voice had ceased, Dev sat silently with his back pressed against the heavy-filled shipping containers. He could feel the blood rushing through his veins, hear it in his eardrums, though the numbness of fear had rendered him almost completely immovable. Deep within his mind, the haunting, dithering words of the creature that had just been on the other side of that door turned over and over again. He had heard them before, hadn't he? He had spent so much time searching through the files in Gestalt's database when he'd hacked it, and he'd seen and read many horrific things, but there had only been one video file in the entirety of their data. A nearly pitch-black video of a man sitting in a chair in the middle of a room, only his eyes and teeth barely visible in the darkness. He stared with wide, unblinking, hateful eyes right at the camera, and slowly, methodically spoke those words. It had haunted Dev for days afterwards. He had looked over all their files 100 times, but had never opened that file again, not once. The file labeled Incantation had caused his dreams to hurt him.
That's awesome.
Dev! A voice suddenly exploded in his ear, causing him to launch his entire body back away from it into a heavy mass of shipping crates that sent them flying in every direction from the impact of his tiny nerd body against them. He sprawled out between them with gangly limbs, trying and failing to find purchase in the fallen stack to stand back up, basically flopping around like a fish and loudly crashing and banging wood and cardboard into each other for a really long time.
Did I do that?
Just stop fighting it! Stop trying to get up and just fucking wait a second! Hey, stop thrashing! Just fucking grab onto one of the boxes! What are you doing? The voice continued. By the time Dev had finally settled at the bottom of a pile of smaller boxes, it had become fairly obvious who was screaming at him, unlikely as it seemed. Standing over him, hands on his hips and rage on his face, was Jason Grace, completely and totally unharmed.
What the fuck?
How do you fucking live like this? Jason asked with a sneer and a shake of his head. I saw you get wrapped up in razor wire like a World War I soldier and dragged into sky hell by a giant butterfly. How are you standing here judging me like nothing happened? Dev screamed out, sitting up after shifting in the box pile a little. Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth right now? Rush hour, Jason said, the last 2 words with an aside glance like it was natural. You're not making any goddamn sense, man. But I saw it. It literally just happened. Dev pointed back at the direction of the double doors. Did the whole room turn red first? Jason asked, shoving his hands into his jacket pockets. Well, yeah, Dev muttered, confused still. You haven't figured out that that's when the monster does some kind of fucking mind control ass illusion shit yet? It happens
Dev.
like right before all kinds of freaky shit shows up every time, and then everyone else doesn't know what the fuck we're babbling about, yeah? It's like 2 plus 2 shit, man, Jason said with a derisive, judgmental shake of his head.
Yeah, Dev,
Aren't you
get
some kind of
fucking with it.
PhD in dweebology or virginomics or something?
Virginomics.
Of course I figured it out, Dev said, offended and struggling to get out of the boxes still. Writer's note, boy, would this work better as a sight gag, huh? He finally managed to get his chucks back on solid ground and dust off his overalls a little. But we both get caught in the illusion, and whatever happens in it seems to happen to us for real, at least. I figured that out first, I'll have you know. He paused, then yelled, also, I'm not a virgin. There are girl nerds, too.
It's true.
Yeah, I bet, Jason said with a look away. Let's think about this logically. Dev rubbed his chin, looking down at the ground and processing. What I saw seemed pretty real, but you're not torn up by guitar strings to death. Sick-ass way to go, Jason said nonchalantly. But there was something on the other side of the door, wasn't there? Dev continued, ignoring him. Look, man, let's just get the fuck out of here before anything else goes wrong, all right? We need to get you some help. Jason motioned towards the door in the corner of the room with a dimly lit, barely functional exit sign above it. I don't know. I'm not feeling real safe to travel at the moment, Dev returned. Look, Dev, we're friends. We've been through a lot together, yeah?
That's not Jason.
I'll make certain you're safe and sound and nothing will happen to you. That's what friends are for, Jason said with a sincere smile. Dev stared at him for a few seconds. He scrutinized him for the first time since he'd seen him before. He looked perfectly right. Exactly how he'd remembered him before, right? Mm-hmm. There was only one way to be totally sure. Dev looked up. Man, you had to be fucking a smartass about it, didn't you? Jason said with a grin and a shrug. He drew up his hand from his side as though nothing was there a moment before. A fireman's axe now glinted in the suddenly crimson light of the room as he held it aloft. I guess I'll just fucking kill you and get it over with. Shame, really.
Finally.
Dev screamed out in his normal blood-curdling, high-pitched manner and began to run at a full sprint away from Jason across the wide room towards its other side. Don't kill me, please! Jesus fuck, Jason muttered, chasing after him with an inhuman gait that crossed the entire room in several steps, his limbs elongating like in a dream with each heavy step. Stop being such a bitch! Well, actually, Dev stopped screaming and running suddenly, standing in place and slamming his hand into a digital console on one side of the gigantic machine at the center of the room.
Oh, man.
The machine whirred to life violently and primed the massive piston at the center of it to strike. Jason stood in place about 20 feet across the wide-open room away from it, shoulders slumped and eyebrow raised. The fuck is that supposed to do? I'm nowhere fucking near it, Einstein. Give it a second. Just wait. Hold on, Dev said, staring at the screen and holding up a single finger towards the demonic apparition that looked like Jason and was trying to murder him violently with an axe.
This is how you beat him.
Can't you just fucking lay down and die? This is getting embarrassing, Jason groaned. There! Dev cried out. The gigantic piston in the center of the room fired down into the hole at the center of it, and into the floor below, dragging the cardboard under it down into a further series of smashing and grinding hammers below. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen besides the machine exploding to life. But when its massive piston slammed back down again, Jason's body was suddenly and violently yanked from its place in the floor and heaved closer to the machine in the center of the room, his head hitting concrete and his lungs violently decompressing in his chest as he landed on the floor. What the fuck? Jason screamed out as the piston raised high into the air and smashed down once more, yanking his body another 6 or 7 feet across the floor in a sudden violent pull, his body scraping against the uneven concrete floor as it pushed him. What is even happening? You brainless buffoon! You chased me all around the room just like I knew you would. All it took was a little quick calculation to figure out exactly how to get your metal puppet strings tied into the box crusher. Now you're going into it head first, and from both directions too, Dev cried out, proud of himself. He pointed up towards the ceiling, the wavy air there splitting and red spilling out from it again. The same silhouette of the gigantic moth-winged woman was revealed amongst the burning red light, but she no longer seemed ethereal and angelic. Now she was being violently yanked towards a fucking box crusher in the middle of a taxidermy shipping room, literally being dragged down from the sky one direction towards it while her puppet Jason was being dragged into it from another. The moth creature screeched an inhuman, horrific screech as it fought against its sudden entrapment. And me? Well, I'm getting out of here! Dev then leapt into the air and spun his legs around in place like when Shaggy from Scooby-Doo zoinks the fuck out of a spooky situation and then zooms away from the danger towards the door labeled exit at the back. His feet making that sound the entire time. His lanky legs took him fast and far, and he burst victorious out of the back door into the cool night's air with his head held high and his ego grown to bursting. Just in time to catch the slightest look out of the corner of his eye at Uncle Otis swinging a shovel and bashing him directly in the head with it.
Nice.
Yay.
Dev's head swam as he slowly regained consciousness. On one hand, this had been the most physical activity he'd gotten up to since he had traveled cross-country to take place in the Pirates of Dark Waters LARP adventure.
Pirates of Dark
There had been a great turnout as well. Almost every fan of the show made it. All 10 of them. Jeff Pennington was the headlining celebrity taking part in the game. No one knew who he was. On the other hand, he'd not been physically beaten this hard since he'd told the Mac store employee that you can put custom ringtones on other types of phones. It had been quite a day. Where am I? He managed to mutter out. Oh, he's awake. Your friend finally joins us, Mr. Grace. Welcome to Whitesville, Mr. Durwood. A sultry female voice pierced through the buzzing in Dev's ears. He managed to open his bleary eyes enough to see a beautiful woman standing in front of him, looking at him like a shark-eyes chum. She was tall and strangely thin, but with high cheekbones and beautiful features nonetheless. She had long, flowing white blonde hair braided in places, and that sort of flowy, glittery 1970s style of a long dress. She looked quite out of place after everything he'd seen that day. For fuck's sake, a familiar male voice made it through the haze as well. Dev looked over to see the side profile of Jason's face glaring at the woman in front of them. Dev peered up to see that Jason was dangling from some kind of extremely chunky metal pieces of machinery around his hands. Upon looking down, the same kind of machinery came all the way up to his mid-calves. We went to a bondage party? Dev muttered. Noticing he was shackled by the same kind of strange metal machinery. Oh, you very much wish, the thin woman said with a smirk. No, I'm afraid that you're currently prisoners of Gestalt. Both of you know far, far too much. Look, I don't know shit, lady, Jason spat out.
Agreed.
I don't doubt that, she said with a look of disgust and a turn away from Jason. But you have definitely seen too much. You saw Snake in action. You saw what I can do. Neither of you will be leaving here anytime soon. So I would strap in and get comfortable. She paused, tapping her long fingernail against the metal machinery around Dev's hands. Oh, I see you already have. Excellent.
Nice.
Jason? Dev muttered out, more clearly now. Yeah, Dev. Jason said with annoyance in his voice, his eyes darting around the dark room they were being held in. He could make out some kind of wood on the walls and a piece of machinery here and there, but not much else. I'm glad you're not dead, Dev said with a weak smile. Jason sighed a heaving sigh. Thanks, Dev. Enough. This isn't the Love Boat, the thin woman scoffed. Now, Mr. Grace, you will answer some questions for me. What could I possibly be able to tell you? I don't even know what the fuck's going on, Jason spat. You will stop your ridiculous tough guy act and tell me right now. Where is Pavlov Flinch?
Oh, no.
The thin woman said with vitriol in her voice. What?
Who cares?
The freaky little Craigslist detective that smelled like cheese? Jason said disgustedly. You got him. The cops picked him up when we crashed. He managed to escape custody, the thin woman said disappointedly.
What?
He was screaming what little he remembers of the lyrics to "Fuck the Police" at the top of his lungs over and over.
Hey!
So the guards tried to restrain him. When one of them put their hand over his mouth, he licked their palm.
That's how you get him off of you.
Apparently, during the severe and completely legal beating afterwards, he snuck the guard's keyring and let himself out later that night.
Smart.
A cab, both Jason and Dev said in unison.
Yep.
Look, Mr. Grace, the thin woman said with a wry smile as she approached him and leaned against his dangling body. You and I could be very, very close if you were to cooperate with me. I would love to get to know a big, strong man like you much, much better. She snaked her finger around his chest and licked her lips close to his. Jason recoiled away from her as best he could, gritting his teeth. I'm gay, you dumb fucking bitch!
Wait, Jason's gay?
Worth a shot, the thin woman said with a shrug. Torture it is, then. Wait, you can get to know me better. I'm full of information you could rub out of me, Dev cried out.
Rub out of me!
Rattling the metal machinery which kept him dangling from the ceiling as he yanked against him. I'd rather not, the thin woman said with a shake of her head. Just let the nerd go already, goddammit. He doesn't know anything about any of this shit, Jason said with a growl. Well, actually, I have a terabyte worth of their most secret files in a secure location.
Shut up, dude.
God.
And it's set to go out to every conspiracy encrypted website on the planet Earth. Should I not enter a password every 24 hours to keep it hidden? Dev said.
Way to make it even less believable by sending it to those websites.
Dev said with a swaggering smirk on his face. You want to do business with me now, baby? Jesus fucking Christ, Jason said, shaking his head. We already knew about all that, the thin woman said plainly. Look, before either of you two buffoons tell me any more of your life secrets, let me just say this. The torture is preliminary. If either of you survive it without giving up the information we seek, then we'll just turn you into horrible abominations we can mind control and have you tell us then. That's just kind of expensive and time-consuming, so we don't jump straight to it. Oh, Dev said, his eyes wide and his mouth dropped. Me being gay isn't a life secret, Jason said with contempt in his voice. Whatever. I'll be back in a second with a lot of sharp things to put inside you, the thin woman said with a giddy chuckle that disappeared into the darkness. There was a long, long moment of silence as both men just hung there in the darkness. Dev, how did you know the fake Jason wasn't me anyway? Jason said with a glance out of the corner of his eyes.
Because he was nice.
He was nice to me, Dev said matter-of-factly. That's how I can tell you're really you now, too. God damn, Jason returned.
Yep.
The stove burner seared the underside of the cast iron, and the sizzle of oil inside it said it was time already. TK upturned the small bowl of chopped up potatoes coated in spices and cheese into it, the sizzle rising to a loud crackling harmony. She smiled as she tilted her head and looked over at the recipe printed out on wrinkly old printer paper on the counter next to the stove. Try not to burn my uncle's house to the ground, please. He doesn't even know we're staying here, Alyssa called from the living room with a sly grin on her face. She placed her feet up on the ottoman and leaned back into the old lady couch she'd made her second home since they had arrived here a week ago. Her uncle's house in Whitesville was the perfect escape from the horrors of Kirby. Or so they stupidly thought because they don't listen to this great show we're doing right now.
Damn, listen to the show. You had a week off. Do something.
Very funny, TK returned with her own grin. I haven't burnt anything since the first night we got here. And fish is hard to cook. Everybody knows that. Ask Gordon Ramsay. Ask Cooking Mama. All the greats.
Cooking Mama. Gordon Ramsay. Probably some other chefs.
Yo, who's Cooking Mama? She sounds hot, bro. Dips popped down from the ceiling. His head and shoulders upside down like he was swimming in the popcorn plaster up there. The studio audience went nuts when they saw him. They all had to stand there for a full 45 seconds until they stopped applauding and going, ow!
Hive mind.
You promised me you'd lay low while we were here for a while, Dips, TK hissed out at him under her breath, trying to be as quiet as possible. Alyssa hadn't quite gotten used to the idea of a teenage ghost boy tagging along to their lives in the way that TK had, though she wasn't quite sure why she was so chill with it. Maybe because he was chill? Maybe because TK's lack of responsibility and attachment to the real world made it easier overall? Maybe the writer's putting too much of himself into a slacker character in a podcast story? Who knows the reason?
Who's to say?
It's been a week, though, homie. You can't keep me locked upstairs like I'm flowers in the attic, dude. I don't even got a sister. Dips wandered...
My God, what a reference.
Dips wandered across the ceiling to peer into the living room where Alyssa was watching some kind of motocross event on the giant wall television. That's a fucked up thing to say publicly. TK waved him away. Just give me until tomorrow, okay? You got it, dudette. I'm gonna do my untethered, ghostly wandering around town thing for a while anyway. You want me to pick up something from the store? Dips asked helpfully. I'm dead, so I ain't got no money or nothing, but it's probably not illegal to steal if you're dead, yeah? They probably forgot to write that into the rules, like in Airbud, dog. Or Airbud Golden Receiver. Or Airbud... Just go, Dips! Thank you, TK interrupted. Righto, babo. And Dips popped back into the ceiling, disappearing. Alyssa walked into the kitchen with her eyebrows raised. I think you might be burning the potatoes. Shit! TK yelled out, running over and yanking the pan off the heat. The potatoes weren't pitch black, but they weren't far off. Damn it, man. I'm sorry, Alyssa. I got distracted. By the ghost in her attic, I know, she said with a shake of her head. I wish you didn't try to pretend he didn't come with us. What am I, stupid? He eats every bag of Cheetos I've ever come in contact with. I didn't even know ghosts ate. Alyssa looked around. I guess we could order something. Do you think anything in town is open? I don't know. The whole town seems like, I don't know, half populated? Like every other house is empty and the neighbors we do have just kind of constantly stare at us. TK rubbed her forehead. I just get a really, really bad feeling about this place, I guess. Could it be haunted? Alyssa said with a gigantic grin. You're hilarious. You ever think about doing stand-up? You could be the next Dane Cook. She faked an angry look, and the two laughed out loud together for a short while. When the laughter died down, they just kind of stood there, looking at each other. The moment hung on the air.
Kiss her.
There was a strange magnetism in the air, and neither of them could break eye contact. And the space between them slowly began to disappear. But then Dips popped in and fucking ruined it like a goddamn sitcom-ass neighbor. Whoa, dudettes, you're never gonna believe what I saw down the street, dude. Dips, goddammit! TK screamed out. Both Alyssa and Dips jerked away from her in shock at the sudden outburst. She looked between them and then awkwardly smiled. What is it? What happened? Yo, dudes, you just gotta trust me. We got a real fucking problem in this town, dude. And I don't mean the lack of killer pizza places. The three of them exchanged worried looks. Yo, wait, were you two about to snarf faces? Dip said with a gigantic grin. The end. Yeah. Or to be continued. I don't know. All these stories connect.
Technically, they're all to be continued.
That's right.
But that was an actual 3-parter.
That was great.
Thank you. I'll never live up to Rich's Hitler impression, but I'll keep trying.
Even I can't live up to my own Hitler impression.
I mean, who can live up to Hitler, guys?
I mean, who wants to?
Let's edit that out. Why not?
Yeah, that was good, dude.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I love Jason and Dev.
Also, most heroic thing Pavlov has ever done.
Yeah.
In a
Saving his own ass?
Well, but no, calling out the cops and
true.
getting free.
True.
I can just imagine him doing it like this.
Fuck the police. Fuck the police.
Fuck the police.
Do you think, like best odds on will Pavlov Flinch play a part in the rest of this story, or will he completely fuck off and never have anything to do with it again?
I don't know.
Oh, man,
I kind of miss him.
It's evens.
I miss him.
Yeah, somebody pointed out. Somebody said in the Discord, I think it was Phantom Thief, that our Jason and Dev, whatever the Japanese Y word is for gay guys, I can't pronounce it. And I was like, it's ironic you're asking that. You're not right, but it's ironic you're asking that.
Yeah,
The Japanese word I know with the Y is Yamaha. Vroom vroom.
Because Jason is gay. He has
you
been
know,
gay the entire time, but I didn't have a chance to make a funny joke about it.
You know, he reminds me of the character in Sex Drive, the movie. James Marsden is the brother.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
Dude, he's the best part of that whole movie, and he's so fucking funny in that movie.
I came up with the idea for Jason. I was listening to the Midnight song Jason.
Right.
And that's why he has a motorcycle, because the guy in Jason does. And I was like, I really like the character Tommy, whatever the fuck his name is, in the Friday the 13th movies.
Mm-hmm. Two-tone.
Because he's like Jason's arch enemy, but he's completely ineffectual at it.
Yeah.
And that's why Jason wears the blue jean jacket, because he always does. And I was like, what would a normal person who was like the arch enemy of some paranormal shit act like? I would just be mad all the fucking time I had to deal with it. So there's Jason.
All cool redheads wear jean jackets, by the way.
Also, he's a redhead, so he's just a rageaholic monster.
Yeah, that's not racist.
You can't be racist against a hair color, you motherfucker.
Don't make me fucking kill you.
I mean, you can't, but we can keep trying.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do.
We can. Let's get a little Hitlery in here.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying all redheads have an anger problem.
Just saying all this one group of people are mad.
I mean,
all this one group of people are the same. That's all I'm saying.
Jeff is married to one, so I kind of feel like he does know what he's talking about.
I'm married to two of them.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right, bitch.
That's true.
Don't you fucking forget it.
Sorry, Jeff.
I get you on the weekends, baby doll.
So the like cast of characters so far has two straight characters in it, and it's Dev the nerd and a ghost. Everybody else is gay.
And he died because he was straight.
Yeah, he was too straight.
Drunk driving is definitely a straight activity. So yeah,
it is.
He was drinking.
Do it
He was
too.
drinking to hide his feelings about his sexuality. So.
Oh. He's like, I can't believe I'm fucking straight.
Boobs and butts and vaginas. Fuck this.
Just drove his car off the road.
Just crashes into a telephone pole. Good. I'm glad it's over. Fuck this.
Jesus.
Well, I don't think we had anything to worry about with our stories today, as always. I'm just going to say it. We're amazing. Everyone else is right about us. Apart from that guy on that on the Reddit thing that I haven't told you about, that was like, Storylords isn't the spiritual successor to fantasy fiction because for some reason Jeff and Rich write like they're trying to win a Pulitzer, and I was like, what? Yeah. Good? We write good?
That's a real tough insult, man.
That hurts my feelings so much.
I was like, what?
All I heard is Josh's stories are bad.
Oh no, because it changed.
That was
after
a real
that.
Stealth insult, is what it was. It's
It changed.
fucked up.
It changed afterwards because it was like, oh, Josh's stories have started to become a bit more details orientated as well. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What do you want from this podcast?
Yeah.
Bad stories?
That's the way stories generally work if you do 39 of them.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Anyway, it made me laugh.
People are stupid.
Yeah.
Except listeners to our great show.
Yeah.
Everybody else who rules.
They're just filthy degenerates. As we have said before.
Hentai-loving degenerates.
If you want to be one of those... No, we're not ready for that yet. yeah, 3 good stories. So I think it's time to close the cover on today's stories. And we're going to pull out the All-See prompt ball from wherever we've stored that before.
Question mark?
Hold on, let me just get it out of my butthole.
There we go. Nice.
Plop.
Done.
Okay, the first prompt for episode 40 is Rivers by Duncan No Second Name.
Duncan Jacks.
There you go.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Only Red Letter Media fans will know what the fuck that's a reference to.
The second prompt is Graffiti by Doglips Kajoyan.
Did we not have graffiti already?
No.
No.
I thought we did.
No.
Well, it's because you're dumb.
Yeah.
Rivers and princesses.
Yeah, I'm going to write this down because I had to ask you midweek.
Because you're dumb, baby.
I'm ignoring Jeff right now.
Rivers. Right. So, warning to everyone who's listening, I am going to put out another call for prompts because the prompt list is getting pretty thin. Too thin to do it randomly. So, yeah. So if you want
Too
to
thin for my liking, you know what I mean?
like 'em thick.
we like them thick. We like those lists thick.
I like my lists like I like my butts, with my dick in them.
Nice. So
It's a good show, man.
if you want to add dicks to the list of prompts, which is perfectly doable in today's modern society, and do your civic duty and suggest prompts to the Book of Blood. I haven't said that for a while. Then you can head over to patreon.com/storylords, and for as little as $5 a month, you can join our super cool Discord, read our stories, and suggest prompts. And then for $10, you get access to our other sidecast. We've got a new sidecast coming out, which we recorded last time,
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
which we have not even mentioned or reminded Josh that he
By the
probably
time
needs
this
to
comes out-
edit.
I did.
He did it already. I'm the problem.
Hey! Oh, you're a good egg.
Well, it'll be out by the time this comes out.
Okay.
Because I'm going to put it out tonight.
Did it already?
Nice.
I
It was
also did
fun.
it already when this goes out.
Yeah, it's already done as soon as this is out.
It was really fun. Like,
That was good.
Genuinely, I forgot we were recording, which is kind of the point of it, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what we even talked about.
We had to edit out some slurs that you were slinging around, Rich, but besides
it
that...
Mud
we should have
humpers.
known. Mud humpers.
For $10, if you want to be a slightly better patron, you can get
Slightly
access
better
to...
person.
True. If you don't want to be a Hitler, you can get access to all the sidecasts we do, including Redesign by Committee and the show we call Afterlords, which will be out by the time you listen to this episode. For $20, you get all that, the PDF of the upcoming book, and create credit in the book itself. It's pretty much a no-brainer. I think you're stupid if you don't do it, really.
Yeah, you're a horrible person if you don't.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding. You're
Nah,
a
I mean
wonderful
it.
person. Jeff means it.
And if you want any other info on the show, you can head over to storylords.card with 2Rs.co and find it there. We have Twitters and Blue Skies that you can find there. I'm not listing them because I don't want to contribute to the Musk machine. Which sounds
so
gross, doesn't
disgusting.
it?
That's what Pavlov Finch calls his armpits. The mustache.
Women love it.
All natural.
And then, as always, we want to give a big thanks to Vidazen, who does our theme music. He is an all-round great guy, truly the best of us.
Yeah, I've got,
Jeff,
I've
you
got
had a
three big... Thank you, Josh. I got 3 big lumps of news for you folks here, for Vidazen heads out there like we are.
V-heads.
Greg's band Santosha has 2 shows coming up. One on March 16th at the Temple in Newark, Delaware, and one on 4/4 at Papa's Palace in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
That's my birthday.
On Josh's birthday, there is a Santosha show you can go to.
Shit.
At Papa's Palace at Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
he also has a brand new Dream Pass, one of his other projects, releasing on March 14th. It's queued up for release on March 14th. Dream Pass is like sort of a ethereal, kind of like hip hop inspired type of music. It's so fucking cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. But if you like prog rock, like Coheed or like Rush or whatever, you should listen to Santosha.
Yeah, Santosha fucking rules,
It's
man.
so
like
good.
Ghost of You is one of my favorite songs
It's
ever.
so good.
Also, there may be more Vitizen music in the future on our podcast. That's all.
Yeah.
Don't fucking flirt with them. Don't tease their wieners.
I'm teasing their
Man,
beeholes
we
with that
need
one,
to.
baby.
We need to.
God.
Yeah, and if you wanted to find out anything else about Greg's, other stuff that he does, you can head over to vitizen.card.co. That's card with 2 R's again. He's got everything there: inside leg measurement, social security number,
Whoa.
beehole flavor,
Favorite
Flavor?
fruit. I
flavor.
mean
Yeah,
vegetable.
it's cotton candy. Did you not know?
Favorite fruit? Vegetable.
Is cotton candy a fruit, Rich?
There's
Fuck
no
off.
seeds in it. Fuck you.
It's a veg. It must be a vegetable.
Did it grow from a flower and
Yes.
has seeds in it?
I don't know where cotton candy comes
Well-
from. I thought it came from your mama's beehole.
No.
Your vegetable.
I don't like this ongoing joke. Don't look back at how I've laughed at it every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about it for the show. As always, you can listen to our other projects, M Class Podcast and Toonhounds, and continue. You're probably already listening to all of those. If
Do you have the sound effect for Toonhounds? The
no, but the emails when people send in emails, they do it. They do.
Did they do it in the
dog
email? They
howl?
go, "Arr!"
They do dog howl. Yeah. So.
Do you call your fans the Hound Pound?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what we
Toon
call them.
Platoon. The Toon Platoon.
Oh, that
Toon
is
Pups?
Yeah.
good. I don't know. I don't know if we've got a name for them.
Toon Mutts?
The Mutts. That is. Yeah, well, that's the one I'm sticking with now. We're going to call them the Mutts from now on.
The persistence of motion mutts.
The Mutt Sluts.
At least at least there's some sort of fucking distinction between you guys and your fans. For some reason, I decided that Josh and I, are the Trek boys.
Uh-huh.
But also listeners of the podcast are Trek boys.
Well, we're stuck on the station. I mean, we come home to do this. I mean, I'm at my house now doing this show, but
We beam
then
in.
it's straight back up to the fucking station after
we
this.
fucking beam in or whatever from Star Trek.
Yeah, shore leave.
More like whore leave.
Mutt Sluts and whore
When you go to
leave.
Ryza.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go to Rise, all right.
Man, why does that planet not exist? It would solve so many problems.
Yes. Thank you.
Anywho,
I don't think humans need help randomly fucking. We've been really good at that throughout history.
Swipe right. Am I right, guys?
you are. Swipe up.
Swipe
it's
right, am I
right.
right, fellow kids?
Am I right, Tinder
Fellow
sluts?
Gen Z.
How about those memes that you laugh at?
Those memes.
Guys.
Those
Who
memes.
does laugh at those? Certainly not I.
I forget. There's something I wanted to say, but I don't remember, so it's not important.
Oh,
I bet it is important. Fucking remember
No.
it now.
Nothing I ever will do is important. So
On that
Whatever.
note, we will see you in 2 weeks for more Story Lords. Bye-bye.
Bye.
wait, I remember.